Coming up this week on Hip Hop Now podcast, Russell Simmons has a new docuseries telling the tale of hip hop again. Rick Ross drops a new album and throws darts at Baby in defense of Lil Wayne. And Snoop Dogg does a video assassinating Donald Trump. Donald Trump responds, and then T.I. obliterates him.
But let's get right to the business.
Read these headlines. This album must be gone. This album must be gone.
Classic album.
Come to Hip Hop Podcast.
What up, y'all? I am your host, Vegas, and welcome to Hip Hop Now Podcast, the podcast designed to catch you up on all things hip-hop music and culture that happen throughout the week. You can follow me on social media at Vegas World INC. That's Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. But if you like Facebook, and I know there are some people who do, some people like Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/hiphop right now and hit the like button. What's there? Well, I share different stories I find across the hip hop landscape, as well as this podcast being available, and also a YouTube network that I'm working on for podcasters like you and myself, people who create content, whether it's video form. So hit me up, vegasworld5@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on social media, whatever it may be. But there is where you'll get some video versions of this podcast. Not only this podcast, but you'll get a couple of other things, some video games and other podcasts in regards to sports, different things that's going to happen there. So B-Roll Network, not roll as in roll that you put butter on or something like that, or I'm rolling with the homies, but roll as in role model. The letter B, roll, ROLE, network. All right, on YouTube. Just put that in there. You'll find it. That's not a dude holding a gun. Don't worry. It's a camera. All right. But let's get right into the business. Russell Simmons, first and foremost, I must shout out allhiphop.com, XXLmag.com, and Hip Hop DX, where I'm getting some of these stories from. So check them out and visit. Russell Simmons is going to produce what is called the definitive history of hip-hop. Some petty. The docuseries tells the tale of hip-hop from its beginnings in the 1970s to the global impact it has today. Russell Simmons said this, and I quote, and I'm going to do a Russell Simmons impression. The definitive history of hip-hop is the untold story of the birth of this art form. The series gets behind the scenes of what's drove the beats, the rhymes, the ideas, and the people. God bless and good night. No, I'm just joking. He also said that so powerfully these people and ideas and rhymes hit a chord with all youth culture in America and around the world. It starts with the OGs of this disruptive force in entertainment, spotlights some of the lesser-known artists who've fallen out of history favor, and of course looks at the icons who are now household names, whether you're in LA, London, Toledo, or Tokyo. I like the sound of this, but I gotta tell you, man, this is kind of more division in hip-hop. The only reason why I say that is because, it says the definitive, let me get it out, the definitive history of hip-hop, meaning maybe Russell saw the Get Down and was like, that's cute, kind of tells it, but doesn't tell everything, but it's cute. Then he looked at Hip Hop Evolution, which I thought was excellent, which is also a docuseries on Netflix, and maybe he looked at that and was like, yeah, they dug kind of deep, but maybe they could dig deeper. So maybe Russell Simmons is going to provide the definitive deep dive into hip-hop culture. Now, I'm all for it. I am all for it, just for the simple fact that, the more people learn, whether it's the youth or the people who don't know about hip-hop music, how it created, how it was created, why it was so popular, its beginnings, why old heads get mad at younger dudes for not caring about lyrics. This is why. You watch these series and you know why. And sure, you can say, yo, that's the past. But it's really not. It's really not. Because it's still there. It's just not what the radio chooses to play. So we'll see how this docuseries turns out. And if you're wondering about the whole mumble rap and old head thing, my last podcast was about mumble rappers and not necessarily making a case for them, but making a case for both sides of the argument. Is hip hop? Is it hip hop or isn't it? You know, I also did a Twitter poll that I kind of threw up late, so it didn't really see much traction. I probably should have put it out a little bit earlier, but from the people who did vote, they were like, hell no, it ain't hip hop. So I don't know. Who knows? I tend to think that people who really, really enjoy mumble rap and nothing else do not listen to this podcast. But that's whatever. Donald Trump comes at Snoop Dogg after mock assassination attempt. Now, I know Snoop did a video which is more of like a remix, I believe, of a Bad Bad Not Good song. And he did a video for it. I didn't really get the chance to see the video. It's called Lavender. And Snoop is basically assassinating Donald Trump. Well, Donald Trump called himself clapping back at Snoop by saying on Twitter, as you know, that's his complete lines of communication, Twitter, and I do not follow him. He said this, Donald Trump, can you imagine what the outcry would be if Snoop Dogg, failing career and all, had aimed and fired the gun at President Obama? Jail time. Now, that was one thing. You know, you expect, because Donald Trump says that about everything, and this is not a political show, but, you know, he always, if somebody goes at him, he says they're failing, you know. If it's a news outlet that's giving him hard questions, he says they're fake news. This is what he does, we know. But what made this catch my eye, at least, wasn't the video or Donald Trump's comments on Twitter. It was T.I.'s response via Instagram. And he had this to say, and I'm going to keep it clean because this is a family podcast. But this is what T.I. said. Snoop Dogg is a effing legend, you effing tangerine tanned muskrat scrotum skin, lace front possum fur wig wearing, alternative fact, atomic dog diarrhea face ass man. Leave our legends' names out your effing old ass puppy piss smelling ass mouth and continue to focus on dividing minorities, building barriers, alienating immigrants, and effing this country up like you've been doing. Hashtag you want to be dictator. Hashtag presidential level F-boy. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Round of applause. I don't care who T.I. was talking about. This ain't me saying I don't like Donald Trump. I don't. But this is me just saying, damn, what did he type that straight or did he edit it? What? Or was that just pure emotions just typing away on the... That was one of the best social media clapbacks ever. Honestly, that was like ether for social media beef. I don't know if Donald Trump has responded, but who cares? Let's move on. This is hip hop. There is a rapper that's suing TDE and pleads for Kendrick Lamar's help after 5-year legal battle. The dude's name is Jonathan Emal. I think it's Emal or Emal. I don't know. We're going to say Jonathan Emal is pleading with Kendrick Lamar to speak up for him in the 5-year legal battle over his song Heaven Help Them, which also features an original verse from K. Dot. And he had this to say in regards to it, or this whole situation. One of the reasons I wanted to work with you, and this was something he wrote to Kendrick Lamar for his help. One of the reasons I wanted to work with you initially is because you were a champion of independent thought, independent artistry, and independent of this industry. I won't pretend to know just how much control you have over your career or business, but I do hope that you will read this letter and understand what the action of your team and label will do to independent artists. The dude is a Canadian rapper or whatever. Not that that means anything, but I mean, honestly, it doesn't take away from how I feel about TDE as a label. I feel like they are one of the labels that if you're a person out there saying, yo, hip hop is dead, ain't really nobody, at least on the radio doing, take that back. TDE got plenty of artists who do dope hip hop. They care about lyrics, they care about beats, and they really try to blend the styles of what's popular sonically on the radio with the history and the culture, you know what I'm saying? What they do with their lyrics. So I mess with TDE. But when you're talking about the record industry, it can get murky. Not everybody's getting jerked. You know what I'm saying? Maybe initially it was harmless and the dude paid for the feature, so it wasn't nothing like that. Maybe initially it was harmless, but maybe someone came along and looked at the situation, and whether that was they had an issue with the affiliation or something else, they decided to pull back. You know, they stopped sending calls. So some of it is the politics of the business. Some of it isn't. And honestly, sometimes you got to take it, especially when you're the unknown dude, you got to take your L and keep moving. And honestly, now that this has kind of been publicized, use it. I mean, everybody else does it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody accuses people of doing it. Some people get shot and then they come out. Tupac wrote the blueprint for that. Yo, even though he shot himself, you know, he, not when he died. I'm talking about when they got robbed. But he used it, you know, when he was out with, you know, I think it was in Atlanta when he had the shootout with the cops. Yeah, the story is the shootout with the cops. But he didn't know they was cops until later because they were undercover, you know what I'm saying, or off duty or whatever. So it's one of those things where people use stuff, and unfortunately, you know, this dude got to go through this legal battle and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, man, a feature is Kendrick he's already set. Him being on your project is not going to help. Maybe it'll help you, but honestly, it didn't because of this legal situation. But the story coming out does put people's eyes on you and on your music, unless there's somehow they don't, you know, there's some kind of legal restraint on you releasing music, period. Use it, man. Show people who you are as an artist and not who you're rapping with, you know, because that's honestly, that's not going to get me to even click on anything because I'm not looking for it, honestly. Method Man is the referee on the battle rap show Drop the Mic. Now, maybe you've seen the carpool karaoke where, you know, they're in a carpool and, you know, celebrity guests come in there and they sing a song. I think Michelle Obama and Missy Elliott did one and things like that. Well, they have a hip-hop one called Drop the Mic. It's a TBS series. Originally, it was something much similar, and it's going to be the same thing for this show where celebrities of some sorts are going to battle, I guess, in a car. I have no desire whatsoever to watch that, but that's not saying a lot because honestly, if you follow my tweets, if you follow anything I say on this podcast or anywhere else, you already know I watch sports for the most part, and I DVR most of the shows I really like. Like, you know, I watch The Flash and all of that. But you know, Game of Thrones, that's probably the only thing I watch live is Game of Thrones and shows like that. So, I mean, maybe I'll watch it for review purposes, but honestly, I'm just too much of a hip hop head to care that much about something like that when I could be listening to Bow Wow making threats to Donald Trump, and not just Donald Trump, but making threats to Soulja Boy, talking about, yo, because I watched this video, right? I think it's on Instagram, where Bow Wow like, yo, man, he got a couple young goons behind him or whatever, you know, looking hard in the background, pause. But he's like, Bow Wow's in the front like, yo, man, when I drop this tomorrow, you're going to be over, man. I'm like, Nick, Bow Wow, yo, man, shut up, man. Like, yo, you know what Bow Wow is when it comes to hip hop? He's a dude who you don't know why he's still relevant. Well, I know why he's still relevant because outside of hip hop, he is a good like host, and he has other talents besides rapping. You know what I'm saying? That he can and has, in some regards, capitalize off of. But he's too much in the spotlight. And the thing is, with Bow Wow, like, I'm an older dude, and Bow Wow was a kid. I was in college when Bow Wow was out. But Bow Wow, you ain't a kid no more, man. So taking these Instagrams like, yo, man, and I know there's some people way older than him that do it all the time, 50 Cent, but it's not even, he's not even trying to be funny. Like, he's trying to make these threats as an MC. And to be honest, I haven't heard a Bow Wow verse since I was in college because I never really cared that much. I thought he was nice back then, but we know that, Jermaine Dupri and Da Brat, probably a couple other people were writing rhymes and stuff like that. So who knows, man? Who knows? And more importantly, who cares? Warren G reflects on Nate Dogg's legacy on the 6th anniversary of the legend's passing. Yo, I didn't realize that that can't be true. I didn't realize that Nate Dogg passed away 6 years ago. That's it? It feels like it was so long ago that that happened. Nate Dogg is a legend in the game. Let me tell you a quick story about sing-songy hooks types rappers, if you don't know, right? Shout out to TJ Swan. If you young and you don't know who TJ Swan is, he was kind of like, I won't say he's the first because honestly, I don't think that's true, but I think he was the first as far as popularity and being a part of a crew, and having him on the hook was always golden. TJ Swan was that dude for the Juice Crew. You know what I'm saying? Nobody Beats the Biz. He really couldn't sing like that, but you know the song, Nobody Beats the Biz. Like, he's singing on that joint. But he was like the perfect smooth R&B dude to come and do the hooks. And you've had a couple of people over time. There's somebody I'm forgetting. I can't remember who it is before Nate Dogg. But let's just fast forward to Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg was that dude where couple of times he kind of made the hook. He literally made the songs better. And I know he had his, personal demons and things he was going through, which wasn't necessarily the cause of his death. But I know, like, his album came out way later than it should. When they had Ain't No Fun, when Snoop's album, Doggy Style, came out, and because that song is Nate Dogg's record, to be honest. Because that's kind of like almost the best part, and it feels like, Snoop and anybody else rapping on it, feels like they're featured on a Nate Dogg record. But I felt like that was always the best advertisement for a Nate Dogg solo album, but it came so much later that nobody really cared. And it would have been hard anyway, because the thing about TJ Swan and Nate Dogg with these, dudes who sing the hooks mostly for these rap dudes, these artists aren't always that successful when it comes to having a solo career, because the thing is, I guess what people usually think is like, they really can't sing like that, so I don't want to hear a full album, because then you get Ashanti. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's kind of like, because don't get me wrong, I like some of Ashanti's joints, but that's what her first album sound like to me. It sound like the chick who sings the hooks has an album, and it's not that great, because it literally should just be an album full of hooks. Now, a situation where that kind of works is somebody like Carl Thomas, who was singing on a lot of hooks before his album dropped, but that brother could actually sing and he can write, and his album was really dope. At least the first three were. That last one that I saw was really terrible. But, he had a nice career, and I felt like Nate Dogg had that because he started to branch out a little bit more, and he was on, other people's projects, doing what he do. But it always worked. It always sounded dope. Like Nate Dogg on the hook always sound dope, just like TJ Swan did back in the days with the Juice Crew. So, rest in peace to Nate Dogg. Salute for sure for everything that brother has brought to the game. It's unfortunate that we don't really know or hear much about him, because You know, it's honestly Biggie and Tupac is like holidays when their birthdays and their death anniversaries come up. But, you know, people like Big L and Pun and Nate Dogg and rappers like that and people who are part of the rap game like that always get kind of forgotten. So y'all remember I did a video, One to Flow on YouTube series. It's on the B-Roll Network, B-R-O-L-E Network. One to Flow on video series where I mentioned how, you know, Eminem was the truth because he's always for the culture, and he recently signed Westside Gunn and his brother Conway. And, you know, both two dope rappers out of Buffalo. Well, Conway appeared on Sway in the Morning on Shady 45, and he was calling out battle rappers. So I guess he wants to battle. Now, the verse he kicked came from I believe, a 2015 mixtape where he had said this. But let's see if we could get some audio going on that real quick.
Niggas, they don't rap, but like niggas ain't even half as nice. I will slap the life out of your favorite rapper twice. Murder Mook in front of T-Rex, cut Disaster in half with a flash of knives and counter cold loaded with crazy. Arson, you gotta holler for holler, but I'm saving it for Arsenal. And you ain't seen shit. Punch the shit out of one of these rap niggas, make me tight ass G's.
Woo. Now, if you don't know, Conway was out before. Like, he was out a while back, and like he was one of the dudes I was checking for because his music was crazy. But then I believe he either had a stroke or he got in an accident or something like that. And sorry for the cussing, y'all. You know, I know it's a family podcast, and he just went in. I didn't realize he was gonna go in like that. But you know, something happened where he lost kind of the use of, I believe, the left side of his face. And I mean, you can see it when you look at him. But as you can hear, he hasn't slowed down. Now, calling out battle rappers, you know, a lot of people still don't really know about the battle rap culture. So it's really the heads and the battle rap fans who will really be like, you know what I'm saying? But I'll just say this. Doing that over a beat is one thing. And calling out all those dudes is cool. But battle rap is a whole nother level of rhyming. And maybe one day I'll do a podcast where I just break down the difference between diss records between artists, and I'm not even going to say it, but, you know, Nicki Minaj and them. The difference between artists doing diss records and battle rappers battling in these battle arenas or these leagues. It's totally different. There's so many different rules to how you do it, but it's all based in hip hop skill and culture, and and it's pretty dope. So we'll see what happens. I know Disaster did respond to him, you know, admitting that he was nice. You know, as you can hear, everybody was getting straight hyped on set on Shady 45. But Disaster did say you can't mess with him. And maybe I will do that podcast because people don't know, like, Disaster is not a dude who you initially look at if you don't know or you don't really watch battle rap and say, well, how is he going to mess with that dude? That dude rhyming over, New York State of Mind, killing them. But then you hear Disaster and he's doing all these syllables and similes and, adjectives or whatever else. And, you know what I'm saying? He's doing battle rap culture, though. Same thing. So we'll see. We'll see where things go. And lastly, Rick Ross released a new album called Rather You Than Me. I had the chance to check it out. Now, honestly, I'm going to do a video style kind of review on it, but it is not necessarily just going to be breaking down the whole album on the B-Roll Network, B-R-O-L-E Network on YouTube. Subscribe today. But more so talking about why I like this album and why you should stop fronting on Rick Ross. But that'll be on the video. But in regards to the album, I feel like I didn't really like Rick Ross's last album. And maybe because he was leaving Def Jam and he just kind of spit out some records that kind of felt run-of-the-mill for Rick Ross. This dude is one of the best beat pickers in hip-hop history. Honestly. Because some of the beats on here, damn near all of them, honestly, except for maybe one, And I still like that one, but honestly, I feel like this dude picks just the perfect beats for his flow and what he talks about. And if you go into a Rick Ross album expecting to be wild, expecting to hear lyrical miracles, spirituals, got minerals, to hear all that, nah, man, that's not what you come to a Rick Ross album for. You come to a Rick Ross album for swagged out rhymes, for, let the sunroof open, let the drop top, or maybe you ain't got neither one of those, just open the window during the spring or the summertime, lean back in your chair and chill. And if you rich, be happy. If you're not rich or you're happy in life, whatever. He has lyrics that just depict a lavish life, but you feel somewhat included. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was times where Jay-Z say things and you feel like you can't relate because you're just not that rich. You know what I'm saying? But when Rick Ross says it, I don't know if it's his cadence or whatever, but it makes you feel like you can get it. Now, we know the Officer Ricky thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to address that on the one to flow on. Trust me. But I feel like this album is pretty dope. But one of the things that stood out is the fact that, and I believe Justice League, again, is what laced him. And I think he's best, with the Justice League on production. That is just, don't ever, like Snoop with Dre. Snoop do songs with Dre today, it sounds like Snoop from Doggy Style. So same thing with Rick Ross. Justice League, maybe Alchemist, maybe Just Blaze. Keep it simple, man. That's what works for you. But he has a song where he's dissing Baby. He's going at Baby for Lil Wayne. It's the third track on the album. It's called Idols Become Rivals. It features Chris Rock in the beginning. Chris Rock sound high, but then again, he might just be doing a bit. But the thing I do like about it is, it's not one of those like, see you in the streets, we got the hammer for you, the chopper pull out. It's not one of those, even though some of that's kind of there. It's one of those where it's like, yo, when I was broke and I was a rapper trying to get it and I was a CEO, let's keep it funky. But, I was looking like, yo, they winning, they're blessed, kind of basically saying he was looking up to what Baby was doing. But then when he got on and he see you in person and he could tell your watch is fake, and he finds out that all the cars that you've been flaunting and showing off, you don't really own. And how disappointed he was, and how he don't like how he's doing Lil Wayne for everything that Lil Wayne has done for Baby. Now, I 100% agree. Lil Wayne definitely agrees. He said he needed that, and I quote. But I definitely agree with Rick Ross, and I like the way he approached it. It's not really disrespectful. It's just saying like, yo, man, let's take down that facade you got on for a minute. And as a man, let's look at this. Now, there's somebody who will say, well, how you going to call him a fraud for not having, what he really flaunting, and you trying to flaunt like you the true freeway Ricky Ross, and you getting money, and you know what I'm saying, you had this drug life, but you was a CEO. Look, that's hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Not to get into my video podcast a little bit, but that's hip hop, unfortunately. It's literally a cast of characters, some of which live out their life in their rhymes for real, or some of which who are just storytellers. And the thing is, it's like wrestling. You know what I'm saying? It's just like WWE. That's what hip hop is. And some people get mad at that because they want it to be real. But so did I. I wanted Ultimate Warrior to beat Hulk Hogan's ass for real, but then I knew like, yo, that punch didn't really land, but Hulk Hogan went down. That clothesline was kind of weak, but Hulk Hogan act like he got decapitated. It ain't real. It's entertainment. And the thing is you're not going to break character because you're not going to be popular anymore. You're not going to make money. You know what I'm saying? Which is kayfabe in WWE wrestling terms. You're not going to break that. because this is the image you have to sell. Now, if you come out and you're pure honest, in regards to your image, whether that be, I am a thug, like somebody like Bobby Shmurda, and then you see where he is, or you come out and you just like, no, this is who I am and I don't do any of that, then people will like you based off of who you are. And, sometimes that's better because it's realistic. But honestly, it's not I used to look at baby stuff, not baby stuff, like as in kids, but I used to look at babies, jewelry and cars and all of that. And I said to myself, he cannot own all of that because that's a complete waste of money. It is. You can't drive all those cars. It's stupid to invest like that. Cars depreciate as they leave the lot. I don't care how much they cost. When they leave the lot, they depreciate. Now, if you own a bunch of homes and stores, and now you're talking. You own some real estate, that's different. But that's the thing with hip-hop, man. We tend to take these things a little too serious. I'll talk about it a little bit more on my Want to Flow on the B-Roll Network, BROLE Network on YouTube. Subscribe today. That's going to do it for me on this episode of Hip Hop Now Podcast. Follow me on social media at Vegas World INC. If you like Facebook, facebook.com/hip hop right now. Hit that like button. Please know that I also do news updates on DSR.FM, which is Death Star Radio. You should check it out. They got an iOS and an Android app, and you can listen to it. If you laptop, and you can do that too. You know what I'm saying? But it's that real hip hop you like, and it's uncensored, so it ain't safe for work. But you working out, you in the crib, you in the car, check it out. DSR.FM. You'll hear me periodically come in and give you a little news update. Also, don't forget YouTube Network. We're working on it. There's a couple of things there. It's a little light right now, but B-Roll Network, BROLE Network on YouTube. Search it, find it. It's a dude holding what looks like a gun, but it's not a gun. It's actually a camera as the logo. That's the spot for, everything that I'm going to put out, along with other people who I'm working with, content creators. And if you want to be a part of that, you have some ideas, hit me up on social media or via email if you do the email thing at vegasworld5@gmail.com. Until next week, y'all, I am not a critic. I'm a fan. Peace.